If you're sat staring at a blank document, trying to write a piece of copy, and you just can't seem to get anything to come through, you just don't know what to write, you just sat there clueless. Number one, if you have a market research problem, that will be the case. You need to go and learn more about who you're trying to write to and what you're writing for. If you don't have a research problem, then you will have this second problem. Now, the research problem is very, very simple to address. You just carry out methodical research and that problem is solved. This second issue is a lot more difficult to resolve, but no fear, because I'm going to tell you exactly how to fix it right now. That problem is a lack of creativity. You have a creative problem if you don't have a research problem. Now, creative problem, essentially, to solve that, I'm going to have to sit here and tell you that you need to be better at being creative. Now, how the hell do you do that? If you're not like me, who's been making stuff up since he was about 3 years old, I had a childhood of just like drawing stuff, absorbing media, doing world building and stuff with my friends. That's just that's the kind of upbringing that I had. I was the nerd. I did that kind of stuff. If that's not you, or if you just never really found that you were able to be that creative, I'm going to tell you right now about how you can actually do that and how it is relevant to your copywriting and your advertisements and why you need it. So there are two schools of thought, I think, really, in advertising. If you read the old books, you will see this. You will see that we have a very cold, kind of harsh David Ogilvy take, which is just bring in the facts, no like wishy-washy flowery stuff, just bring in the facts, bring in the research, and get something serious together and deliver the message. Meanwhile, you have others, a bit like Bill Bernbach, who famously said facts are not enough when it comes to selling things. He definitely championed a more creative outlook at the sacrifice of market research, but what I will say is that I think you should be in the middle here. You should be doing both. Do not pick one over the other. Do not sacrifice one for the other. Now, how do you actually be creative now? That is the struggle. But I've read so many books on this, I've had so much personal experience doing this, and I believe I now have the answer. Now, some of this might sound a bit wishy-washy. I keep saying that, but that's because creativity, it just is. It's flowery, fluffy stuff. But what you do is you first have to understand what Eugene Schwartz said is that there are no original ideas when you try and sit and write copy. There are no original ideas whatsoever. Rather, and people have created this sort of theory to understand this as we know it right now. It's something that a lot of people like to refer to as the unified field. And the idea that our unconscious minds are connected to this unified field, which if you read much into like Carl Jung and that kind of depth psychology and philosophy, you'll know that it's basically the big pool of all human ideas and knowledge that has ever existed. Now, what you do to get ideas is you don't come up with them yourself. All good ideas will come from there. It will come from the unified field, it will go to the unconscious, which picks it up from there, and then it will go to your conscious mind, and then you will know it, and then you write it down. You've translated that idea into reality. So how do you access this? Because what you need to do is you really need to just realize that you can't force this stuff through. You will see advertisements and you will see where people have just taken the facts and I've just used the facts and have tried to force some kind of angle or idea just through using the facts. In reality, you need the creative approach, because when you have the creative approach, through doing the market research, everything that you need will reveal itself to you in the market research. If you have the information and you've got the creative method, you'll be able to see where the right ideas are, and you'll be able to take them out and mash them together, and voila, you have a good ad. Because whilst, and I say this a lot as well, whilst the idea of being a novelist, which is more what I've been leaning towards with my writing as a younger kid, a novelist and a copywriter have different kinds of jobs, wherein the copywriter, writing 200 words in 2 hours is commendable. For a novelist, it's not. Writing more like 1,000 in 2 hours, perhaps more than that. I don't really know what people champion as respectable writing goals these days, but usually it's the more words the better. For advertising, this is not always the case, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to sell a product, and you're trying to do that as concisely and as good as possible. Whether that means that you need more words or less words is going to completely depend on the context of the situation. For novelists, that's not really the case. But there is one thing in common between both of these different expressions of ideas, because they are both forms of writing. And what is writing if not the translation of ideas from the human brain onto a piece of paper or a document on your computer, or a billboard, or on a TV, wherever. That is essentially what writing is. And when you communicate these ideas and you place them on the physical thing, what they need to do is speak to the observer, to the spectator. There is no good in having a novel that does not speak to the reader, where the reader does not feel anything. There's no point. And the same goes for an advertisement. There is no point in having an advertisement that does not speak to the prospect, because it just feels bad. It feels really numb, pointless. You will find this a lot with big budget TV commercials these days, for things like, and usually stuff with celebrity endorsement in it, but things for like designer brands and cars and stuff like that. Most things, to be honest, these days for TV ads. And as well, this is also the case for just facts-based online ads a lot of the time. They don't speak to you at all, and you kind of just sat there laughing because you can see how the attempt at creativity has been forced. But we need to see better than that. We need to realize that creativity is not really the word here, and it is more connectivity, as Eugene Schwartz says. It is connectivity. It's being able to expand our consciousness out to fish for deeper ideas, which is what David Lynch talks a lot about. If you look up what he talks about with his ideation process, fascinating. You really expand this consciousness out so that you can fish for deeper, better ideas and more ideas. And the number one way to do this, you might say, okay, how am I going to expand my consciousness? What does this mean? Is he going to tell me to go on a meditation retreat or something? No, not at all. I would recommend meditation. It's fantastic practice. But what I'm going to tell you to do is to stop reading so many copywriting books, which I've said before. You've got my recommended reading list. Just read those. And stop looking at all of these other ads all of the time. This is not to say that you should not do this, because you need to know what's working, you need to learn your stuff, but do not underestimate the power of exploring other things and learning about new things through reading fiction, through reading random, this is championed a lot by a lot of old school copywriters, low culture magazines, by reading news stories, be careful though, because they kind of suck, by watching TV dramas, by anything. The point of this is that you need to explore the world, and you need to learn about the world, because, and this is going to completely change, I think, your view towards advertising forever. An advertisement is a part of a wider connected world. Okay, the wider connected world, everything out there, everybody out there, all the ideas in it. Your advertisement is capturing a small piece of this wider connected world. Now, the way that you can better do that is when you know more about this world, so you can pick the right parts out of it and connect the right parts into the advertisement, channel it into the advertisement, and you have much better output. You have a way better deliverable in the end, because the more you know about stuff in general, the better you will be at picking out ideas when you're doing the research, the better you will be at just coming up with ideas on the spot by sitting in that quiet, letting your subconscious just feed through ideas onto your conscious mind. You're going to be so much better at that if you just know things. Like, seriously, do not feel bad because you want to go and play a story-driven video game or something. or because you want to watch a good TV drama, or because you want to read fiction instead of just reading these improving marketing books all of the time, don't feel bad about this. Do it. Learn more about the world in general. And that is, in essence, without any kind of, in the least flowery way I can say, on the most practical level, because that's what I want to give you here, a practical way of doing this, of expanding your consciousness, which means that you can expand your capacity to dig in and to get ideas to put through and express them in your ad campaign, so that you're not just sat there staring at a blank document, not knowing what the hell to say. Now you know exactly how that you can go about and do that. You might not get good at this immediately. It might take a little bit of time before you start getting good at this, but start sitting with yourself in quiet. Okay, stop putting your headphones in all the time. Give yourself the time to just kind of, I know some people just say like sit and stare at your wall, that kind of thing. Give yourself the time to just sit and let big ideas come to you. And big ideas will come to you regardless of how big your consciousness is, for lack of a better term here. But more big ideas will come through to you when you do learn more stuff and you do have a bigger sense of consciousness, a bigger grasp of getting ideas from that deep unified field wherein all is connected, whatever the hell that is talking about. But get the linguistic and get the storytelling and get the cultural knowledge, and you will be so much better at coming up with ideas. You will not be sat there struggling ever again, and you'll be able to create work that is not just good at selling products, but it also is of artistic merit as well. So that's just a bonus. This is not to say that artistic merit is the number one goal of creating advertisements. We're not trying to entertain people, but that is a bonus, okay? On top of, as well, doing an amazing job with having some amazing ideas for the deliverable in question. So I hope this helps. It's a bit weird, I know, but I'm a very weird person. I have no shame in admitting that. I read weird books on this type of stuff all the time, and I think it's fascinating, and it's helped me tremendously in just creativity across the board. And I've been able to channel that into my advertising job as well. So I hope that that really assists you also, as it has me. Now, if you enjoyed this, please, and if you want to hear more from me, I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker. Scroll down and you can sign up to my free newsletter where I just talk about business, anything I learn. There is a ton of insightful stuff in there that will come your way quite frequently. So go ahead and sign up to that. The link is in the description. Just scroll down, sign up to my email list, and you will get everything come through to you just immediately. So you'll also get a guide as well that will help also with you executing a bit on this video, which is a productivity guide. So that's also delving a bit more into what Eugene Schwartz talks about there with his copywriting productivity strategies, which are unmatched, and I think that everybody needs to know about that. So go ahead and do that. And if you want to connect with me as well, you can go and check out my Instagram link in the description, and you can send me a message over there if you'd like to connect and ask me anything about what you thought in this video. Alternatively, just email me, but you can do that by signing up to the list. And I hope you got something out of this, and I want to wish you happy creativity, and I will see you all in the next video.